How are you doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 84, Ankalaev vs. Walker 2 on January 13th, 2024. Let's get right into it with the first fight of 12. I'm so excited for fights to be back, oh my god. We start in the flyweight division with Joshua Van stepping in on short notice for Dennis Bondar against Felipe Bunes. Let's start with Joshua. His last fight was a win against Kevin Borjas in November of 2023. Solid Muay Thai from Joshua Van. He likes his jab, great defense on the feet. We saw that in the Kevin Borjas fight, barring some shots that landed. Very patient. Again, we see that. Joshua Van stalks his opponents, but he's very patient and methodical with it. His takedown defense is good. His accuracy with his ones and twos are insane. He likes the front kick to the gut. Watch the head kicks. He has the ability to throw 15-punch combinations. We saw that in the Zhalga Zhamagulov fight. He's a complete dog. And the only thing that I have knocking Joshua Van is he can get hurt and tagged whilst pressuring. We saw that, of course, in the Kevin Borjas fight. He got dropped in that first round while he was pressuring, and then for the rest of the fight, Kevin Borjas would throw like heavy shots. Joshua was dodging most of them, but some of them did land. Let's go to Felipe. His last fight was a win against Yuma Horiguchi in January of 2023. He loves to throw and feint his jab. That's his primary weapon, is his jab. He'll throw it out, then he'll throw it out 100%. It's his primary weapon. He generally keeps it at a slower pace. Felipe doesn't push an insane pace. He just tries to, keep it mellow. He's very active off his back. He uses his legs really well to create bad positions everywhere. One of the fights that I saw trying to research him, he had a buggy choke, and he almost got it. It was insane. He looks for takedowns of his own to create his own offense, and uses unique striking off the top. He uses his shoulder to just how Conor McGregor, when he fought Donald Cerrone, he used his shoulder on the ground. He was whipping his shit. Again, one of the only things I saw bad about Felipe is, one, he keeps his hands primarily low, and his takedown defense isn't the best. And Joshua Van, we see that his takedowns are actually pretty slick. This fight, to bring us back, is a very good thing. As you saw, I put Curtain Jerker at the bottom. I'm going to start adding little, things at the bottom. I don't know. I'm picking Joshua Van to win by unanimous decision, 30-27. The only reason I don't see Joshua Van getting a finish is primarily due to the fact that he took it on short notice. And Felipe, I don't think he's going to get out of there. It's his debut. He's going to try and, he's going to try to win. We move up to the lightweight division with Nicholas Mota taking on Tom Nolan in his debut. Let's start with Nicholas. His last fight was a no contest against Trey Ogden in November of 2023. Nice leg kicks. Good in the phone booth with hooks. His left hook is his main weapon. We saw that against Cameron Van Camp and his other fights. It's just that the other ones didn't go well. He likes to keep it in threes. Jab, straight, left hook, or whatever. Just trying to throw 3 punches is usually his thing. Gets pressured a shit ton. His ground game isn't the best. He would rather keep it standing, and he's chinny as all hell. Nicholas hasn't had the best first 4 fights in the UFC that a guy can have, but what are you going to do? Let's move to Tom Nolan. His last fight was a win against Bogdan Grad in August of 2023 on the Contender Series. What a knockout. Insane pressure is the best word to describe Tom. Always moving forward, really constricting ones and twos, loves his spinning attacks, spinning elbows, spinning wheel kicks, and elbows and knees in the clinch. Works well in the clinch, may I add, and good body shots. His takedown defense early on is really weird. And may I say this to Tom Nolan, as a guy who's 6-0, of course, most of the guys that he's fought in have negative records. The only 2 guys that he's fought in his career, he has 3 fights where they have positive records. One guy was 9-7. He has a win over Adam Cole. I think his name's Adam Cole. Adam Cook, who is at City Kickboxing with Israel and Dan Hooker. He, early on in that fight, he got taken down. He gets controlled for a little bit, but then he scrambles really with a lot of energy and gets up. It's just really weird. But usually what his takedown defense is spam, sprawl, and dars. That is what Tom Nolan will do. If he defends a takedown with a good sprawl, he will immediately shoot for a dars. He will never do for a reach around to get to the back. He will not do back take. He will not stand up. He will immediately shoot dars. If they defend it, then he gets up, but he immediately shoots dars. This fight, I feel, is pretty easy to pick. I'm picking Tom Nolan by first round KO, and it's not really on the bad of Nicholas Mota. I really think it's due to the fact that he's making an insane turnaround after a bad fight against Trey Ogden. Trey Ogden was kicking the shit out of Nicholas Mota, and he's lucky that the ref made a mistake because Trey Ogden was on his way to winning a 30-27 in that fight. Nicholas Mota, he can definitely crack. He can definitely just knock out Tom Nolan and make my pick Nolan void. But, like, Tom Nolan on the stat sheets should win this in the first round. We move to featherweight with Weston Wilson taking on Genie Silva in a fun little scrap. Let's start with Weston. His last fight was a loss against Joe Anderson Brito on short notice in July of 2023. He's got a karate style of fighting, likes to gauge his distance with his reach, likes his straight punches, often rushing in with those. He gets clipped a lot doing that, but it's kind of his main source of, output. Has takedown offense and sub-offense. His chin is very suspect, though. Let's move to Genie. Last fight was a win against Kevin Vallejos in September of 2023. Really good finishing ability. Loves a fun fight. Powerful on the feet, but also has submissions under his belt. Likes a 1-2 and does really good when opponents are on the fence, and he has solid head movement. When I mean on the fences, he throws a lot of step-in elbows, a lot of knees, a lot of body shots. He just fucking rips it, dude. It's insane. He sometimes gets pressured. His hands are low, but he makes up for it with his head movement, of course. I think this fight's also pretty easy to pick. Genie Silva, first round KO. I know Weston isn't taking this on short notice, but Silva, really, the tape that I saw of him, he looks spectacular. That's all I gotta say. We move to a certified banger. Farid Basharat taking on Taylor Lapilus in his return to the UFC. Let's start with Farid. His last fight was a win against Clayton Rodriguez in September of 2023. Insanely active anywhere the fight goes. The ground is definitely his specialty, but he does have hands, don't get it twisted. Good takedown attempts, and when he gets it to the ground, of course against Clayton Rodriguez, Clayton got up, but when he gets it firmly in a good position where the person can't wall walk, and they're actually near the center of the octagon, it's rough for them. It doesn't go well when he gets him on the ground for a long enough period of time. Let's go to Taylor. His last fight was a win against Kalen Loughran in September of 2023. The last time these guys fought was both at UFC Paris too. That's pretty cool. Taylor is super well-rounded, has a fight against Wilson Hayes, who of course fought Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson in the UFC. Pretty big dude stature-wise. If you look at his body, he's actually got a pretty big frame for bantamweight. Only issues we've seen are his wrestling cardio as the fight goes on. He starts to get held down pretty easy, but literally everywhere else, he's pretty damn solid. Other than that, this fight I feel is pretty hard to pick, because both of these guys are really big prospects. Taylor Lapilus has the more championship experience, I'd say. He's fought more better people than Farid has. But I still feel Farid is better skill-wise. So I'm going to pick Farid Basharat by unanimous decision, 29-28. I think Farid, the only reason I say 29-28 is I feel Taylor will win the first round, but then Farid, as the fight goes on, will progressively get his takedowns easier and easier and get him the win. We move to Marcus McGeehee versus Gaston Bolaños. Let's start with McGeehee. Last fight was a win against JP Bays in August of 2023. Crisp stand-up, very quick. Throws quite a few kicks, mostly leg kicks, but he'll throw a body kick here and there. Loves a counter hook or just a counter in general, and his ground game isn't bad either. We saw that in his debut against Journey Newsom when he got the submission win, his only submission win. He also has an 100% finish rate with 7 KOs. This dude just hits very hard. He also looks like a fucking old man. Jesus Christ, dude. He looks so old. Let's move to Gaston. His last fight was a win against Aaron Phillips in April of 2023. Likes a leg kick. Counter straight hand, we saw that in the Aaron Phillips fight. Whenever Aaron would throw an unset up kick, he would just throw a straight right, bow, down the middle and clip him. Super well on the feet, as he has a shit ton of Muay Thai experience. I didn't know this until I rewatched that fight. He has over 50 Muay Thai fights. It's insane. Watch the right side of his body. He'll throw the right hand and right kick a shit ton. Leg kick and body kicks. He rarely throws head kicks, but He'll throw them whenever his opponent's against the cage, but that's very limited as he gets pressured and his takedown defense isn't the best and he can get controlled, mostly due to him being a striker. This fight is going to be fun, but I feel Marcus McGeehee is more well-rounded and he will get a submission win in the second round. I just feel that Marcus will start winning on the feet and Gaston might land a good shot or two and Marcus will just take him down and submit him. We move to Matt Semmelsberger versus Preston Parsons at welterweight. Let's start with Matthew. Last fight was a loss against Urios Medic in July of 2023. Very powerful. Hits very hard. Let's put it like this. Matt Semmelsberger puts people out with just straight punches. It's fucking insane. He's a fucking big guy as well. His takedown attempts are insanely powerful early on. We saw that in the AJ Fletcher fight. He struggles with cardio and his chin is kind of spotty. That's like the one thing. I think his chin is kind of spotty and his cardio is kind of weird because he probably cuts so much weight. But he's a fucking absolute Chad. Let's move to Preston Parsons. Last fight was a loss against Trevin Giles in March of 2023. Will level change often. Likes to be in the clinch. Very unorthodox striking. And what I mean by that is he's so slow, but very powerful. Deceivingly powerful. When on the ground, very dangerous. Has serious sub-offense. He just is, like I said, he's very slow. He's not, like, the eye test, he isn't crazy. That's why I'm going to go with Matt Semmelsberger by first round TKO. I'm calling a lot of first rounders. I just think Matt Semmelsberger is going to clip him. And he's going to die. Because Preston Parsons, he charges in a lot with his ones and twos. Matt Semmelsberger, that's a field day for that kid. We move to Andrei Arlovsky fighting Waldo Cortez Acosta. I'll keep this one short and sweet. Arlovsky's last fight was a loss against Dontel Mays in June of 2023. Loves to keep it standing and possibly in a clinch fight. Still what has it for 44-year-old heavyweight. Of course, his chin is pretty shit and he struggles long distance. Let's go to Waldo. Last fight was a win against Lucas Brzezinski in August 2023. Brutal KO ability, likes leg kicks but can't defend them. Pretty quick for a heavyweight early on in the fight. Really rangy with his right hand. Cardio is weird, of course, because he's a heavyweight. I mean, do I even really need to say it? Waldo Cortez Acosta, first round KO. We move from that sacrifice of a fight to Phil Hawes versus Bruno Ferreira. Let's start with Phil Hawes. Last fight was a loss against Ikram Aliskerov in April of 2023. Genuinely very skilled everywhere. His striking is really slick and powerful, has a lot of upside, has a damage factor. We saw that in the Duran Win fight, which was his last win. He landed so many fucking elbows on this fat little dude. Oh my, he was bleeding everywhere. Straight punches are nice. The legit only problem with Phil Hawes is his really shitty chin. He cannot take a hard punch to save his life. He could be beating someone for 14 minutes and 59 seconds and one punch would set this motherfucker. It's so sad. Let's go to Bruno. His last fight was a loss against Nursultan Ruziboev in July of 2023. Hits extremely hard. Uses a lot of hard feints, but will actually throw that punch. We saw that in the RoboCop fight. He feinted a left hook and then switched his hips and then just threw the left hook again. It is the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Great finisher. His luck isn't the best. In that Nursultan fight, he threw a kick. Nursultan caught it as a 6'5" dude. Caught it. And then Bruno kind of just fell, and then Nursultan knocked him out with one ground and pound strike. It was bad. Other than the RoboCop, his wins aren't really that crazy. He has a couple of guys with positive records who are, have double wins than losses, but other than that, it's mostly negatives. This fight, because here's the thing. This fight goes one of two ways. Phil Hawes styles on Bruno and knocks him out, or Bruno lands like the most catastrophic right hand known to mankind and just knocks him out. Bruno's a favorite to win. I'm going to fade him. Phil Hawes, second round knockout. Let's go. We move to Ricky Simón versus Mario Bautista in the bantamweight division. Let's start with Ricky Simón. His last fight was, of course, the loss against Song Yadong in April of 2023. Striking is very unorthodox, but it works well. His style, he's very feinty. He's very like, I'm going to throw, but no, I don't feel like it. He has decent takedown attempts and his subbing ability. We saw that as he submitted Merab Dvalishvili. He's a fire hydrant of a fucking human being. I mean, he's so short, but just so fucking big, dude. Has good cardio. He almost went all 5 rounds with Song Yadong, other than if his chin wasn't shit. The only problems I have with Ricky Simón is that he crumbles under big opportunities like the Uriah Faber fight and, of course, the Song Yadong 5-round main event fight, and his chin's kind of spotty. Let's go to Mario. His last fight was a win against Damon Blackshear. Pretty good grappling, has good control and cardio to go along with it, good submission ability. Clinch work into takedowns is really good. His striking is just a little bit funky. He starts really cold as well. This fight, I feel a lot of people think Mario Bautista is going to beat Ricky Simón, but I just don't see that happening. I think a lot of people forgot how good he is. He's going to make leg work of Mario Bautista. Ricky Simón, 30-27 unanimous decision. Let's go, baby. We move to the now co-main event of the evening, Jim Miller versus Gabriel Benitez. Jim Miller, of course, fighting for a win to try to get to UFC 300. His last fight was a win against Jesse Butler in June of 2023. Insane, 30-second knockout. Holy shit. Insane power in his hands. Blistering combos early on in the fight. Cardio was manageable depending on the pace. Like the Alexander Hernandez fight, he kind of gassed because Alexander kind of tried to put a pace on him. But other times he can go 3 rounds. Insane submission offense. A lot of people forget that Jim Miller actually is insanely good with submissions. Most of his wins are actually by submission. He has 19 submission wins. He only has 7 KO wins. It's just recently, primarily recently, that Jim Miller's kind of just been knocking dudes out. Very durable. Is an older guy, so realistically anything can happen. Let's go to Gabriel. His last fight was a win against Charlie Ontiveros in August of 2022. The first guy on this list that actually fought in 2022. Pretty solid stand-up, likes to take down when his striking can't go his way, and his grappling isn't that bad. Is durable until he isn't, like the David Onama fight, and then the Charlie Ontiveros fight. He also has power. He can knock people out. This fight, again, I feel it's because Jim is so old. I feel like anything can happen, but I'm picking Jim Miller. I'm going to pick Jim Miller by second round knockout because Gabriel very well could just knock Jim Miller out. I mean, it's happened before. Dan Hooker broke the shit out of Jim's chin. But also I feel he could take a long distance fight. But yeah, Jim Miller, second round KO. We are at the main event of the evening, Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker 2. Holy shit, I'm so excited. I was excited for Manel Kape. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Let's start with Magomed Ankalaev. Last fight was a no contest, of course, against Johnny Walker in October of 2023. Underrated combos on the feet with 1s and 2s, mixing in his hooks and overhands. Also leg kicks. Magomed Ankalaev likes to throw a lot of leg kicks. We saw that in the Johnny Walker fight and the Jan Blachowicz fight, but Jan Blachowicz won the leg kick battle. He likes mixing in his hooks and overhands, of course, as a heavier dude, you just kind of throw that shit out of there. Good cardio. We saw that in the Jan Blachowicz fight, the Thiago Santos fight. He can just kind of put a pace on people. Crushing grappling, disgusting control. He suffers from leg kicks, even though he can throw good leg kicks. In the Johnny Walker fight, he was throwing some solid leg kicks. Same with Johnny. But I don't know if it's just something with Jan Blachowicz. His leg kicks are fucking nuts, though. He can get clipped. He starts a little slow. In the Thiago Santos fight, he started so slow. He got dropped in that fight, too. But he just he doesn't really start that hot. Let's go to Johnny Walker. His last fight was a no contest, of course, against Magomed Ankalaev in October 2023. Big is the word to use to describe Johnny. 6'6" with an 82-inch reach at light heavyweight. That's fucking bizarre, man. Rangy striking with wild inputs of flying knees, clinch elbows, and knees. Good pressure and feints. Johnny will feint a lot. He'll also play possum a little bit. Like we saw in the Magomed Ankalaev fight, the first one, he ate a really good body shot, and it was oh, and then he just was ooh, and then he jumped in the air and almost knocked out Magomed. It didn't almost knock him. It didn't even land, but it would have been cool. He lands in really weird places. And, of course, he's on the career resurgence. Prior to the no contest, I think he was on a 3-fight win streak. He struggles with wrestling, which is primarily, what Magomed does really well. A lot of people are going to pick Magomed Ankalaev, because I feel that's, the no-brainer pick. I feel like Magomed Ankalaev, to think he's going to win, is kind of, a given. But I'm going to pick Johnny Walker again. Here's the thing. A 5-round fight suits Magomed Ankalaev more. But I think Magomed Ankalaev is going to do what he does best in 5-round fights, which is slow the pace down, which Johnny Walker is going to take advantage of. He's going to try to slow the pace. Johnny Walker's not going to take that slow-ass pace. He's going to land some crazy shit in the first round. Because Magomed Ankalaev, because a lot of people just see him as a grappler, dude. He's a good striker, too. Don't get it fucking twisted. But Johnny Walker just lands some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. And I really feel in my gut that he's going to land something. Like when Bobby Green fought Grant Dawson, I just had a gut feeling that Bobby was going to land something, but I didn't want to pick him. Because the last time I picked him when I felt that feeling, of course, was the Islam Makhachev fight, and he got knocked the fuck out. I'm not changing my opinion on this. I think Johnny Walker is going to knock out Magomed Ankalaev in the first round. But, of course, anything can happen, but I'm just so, like, I feel it, dude. I'm UFC Thoughts, and these have been my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 84, Ankalaev vs. Walker 2 on January 13th, 2024. My confident picks reside with Marcus McGeehee, Waldo Cortez Acosta, and Ricky Simone. My pre-card rating for this card is going to be a 5 out of 10. There are some fun fights on here, don't get me wrong, but the fact that Manel Kopp, that fight got pulled off is fucking bullshit. I'm so mad. And I'm not mad at Matthias Nicolau, by the way. Manel Kopp's got to fucking make weight. And if he did get sick, then it sucks for both parties. But, like, god damn it, Manel. Come on, dude. Come on, man. I'll see you guys after the fights. Peace.